Yeah.
I'll tell you why, because he would play so little, but be so good regardless. And I remember, like, back on the day in the ladder, it's like, you know, you had a couple of hundred games, you'd have like your 80% win rate. Then MaSa would have literally like a quarter of the games, but have a 90-odd% win rate. And it's like, God damn it, this guy, like, can he just not?
And yet he did, Ben. He didn't respect how you felt. And it's in the top left.
No.
Top lead term from Storm is indeed MaSa. Doesn't play too much nowadays, but is still a mainstay in these regionals. And he does still bring out very fun build orders. It's actually really fun to see him play.
Yeah, I'll never forget him proxy raxing Scarlet like 5 times in a row or something.
Yeah.
Fabulous. And spawning over in the bottom right-hand side, it is Cham.
Yeah, he proxy racked Neeb like 5 times in a row as well. It was like, he just had a season where he's like, you know what? It's proxy rack season. And he did so well with it.
Yeah, some of these Terrans really have no shame.
Yeah. Not like,
by the way,
like a good old Demu, but Terran.
Yeah, you know, my win record against Raynor. So Raynor, you know, the current Gamers 8 champion of the world. I think on a Ligulac, I'll forever be 4-0 against Raynor. And I think every game was 2 racks.
How long ago were those games?
I think Raynor could barely see over a desk at the time. You know, like
he had like the quadruple chair, like at Valencia that year.
Yeah, he was about waist height on a good day. You know, like granted, he's not that much taller now, but you know, waist height Raynor.
Yeah, nice. I'll never forget the Valencia he got round of 8 in, lost his snoot, but like, man, he was just. He was actually like just like a tiny little kid. He's like just freaking like it felt like it was actually like effort for him to move the mouse around the mouse pad. I was like, oh my god, like, and he's playing so fast. He's literally like whacking his mouse to the right, then whacking it to the left to get it to move. I was like, oh my goodness, this kid's insane. And then he actually became really insane.
He did, and I mean Clem as well for a long time. Like Clem always felt a little bit smaller than Raynor to me. Like just, you know, he looked a bit more petite. I remember looking at Clem, this was like in Barcelona, like you were there casting, but Clem at the time wasn't as good as he is now, because now he's freaking insane. But I remember looking at his hand holding the mouse, I was like, you can barely hold that thing. This is ridiculous. And you're competing at like a top level. And it just turned out that these kids, these tiny kids, they just needed to get big enough to hold a mouse, Swarty, and now they're amazing.
Yeah. Surprised no one ever told them about the Zari Miko, man. That would have been perfect for them back in the day. That thing was tiny.
I think they needed something
even smaller.
Something even small.
No.
Yeah. Like,
It's
do you
impossible.
remember that? Was he Turkish? Zergahamdi?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember his mouse or no?
No, I do not.
It was like the size of my thumb. I kid you
No.
not. Like,
What?
Yeah. He played with a proper like $5 you buy at the airport kind of mouse when you're traveling. And
Oh, I know
some-
exactly what you mean. Like the little. Sometimes they even used to come in little like elastic strings. Like you'd be able to like pull it
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
And no way.
And I was like, you are kidding me. 3 drones falling for MaSa's troubles here. He did go for a build that meant he got very fast Hellions, like very fast. So it was gas first into barracks, and then Reaper, obviously. But it means you get the fastest factory you possibly can. And you see that immediately with that, he utilized that little timing there just to deal as much damage as he possibly could. And this little follow-up here with these Cyclones is also kind of interesting. But yeah, if only they had the little mice, Wardy.
If only they had the little mice as our Cyclones will be kind of scary. You see the single Marine coming across. It's going to go after the Overlord right now. And just going to go hunt that down. So just going to push that to the side. The Cyclones will not do too much just yet as we get ourselves set up for these first few moments. And yeah, I expected MaSa to kind of come in a bit aggressive, trying to get a couple things done. I see the lair coming up on the side of Cham, and yeah, we'll see what the next step is. That's a pretty fast lair, and it's going to be accompanied by the Roach Roaring.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a player that loves his roaches, it is Cham, right?
Yeah.
Like he will make roaches. I would almost guarantee like every game of this series, just because he loves them so much. And you know, he comes from an era where Snoot was very good with like the infestors and stuff with them, but Cham has just kind of never got out of loving them. But here, this little army, and it's a very This is a guerrilla army, man. Like 2 Cyclones, 2 Hellions, and a Cloakless Banshee over here, just taking out Overlords and stuff. It's
like a
pretty wild.
Campaign mission.
It really is. It's like this army attacks you, and you're like, wow, the computer's pretty wild. except it's bloody MaSa.
Yeah. I set the eye on difficulty today, did I? Turns out, yeah, it is indeed MaSa. Stim behind it as well, so it's going to play Bio. Yeah, the
And wait, these are 2 Cloakless Banshees over here. This is very odd.
You don't need Cloak if you're not going to hit the mineral line, man. We're just going to harass, shut down creep, and protect the Cyclones at all costs, apparently.
That's true, that's true. And he, you know, not getting Cloak, he has forced out 3 Spore Crawlers anyway, which I don't know whether Cham wanted to make those or, you know, just has done it as a result, but this amount of Lings that he keeps trickling in, this is not enough to deal with this.
Nope. It is absolutely not. It's just going to have ourselves a hatchery. Still taking some damage. That's the 4th base cancelled. This really just kind of random amount of units is doing so well. And I bet Cham cannot wait to just get himself a whole bunch more roaches up to just deal with this. Like, that's why roaches are so good, man. They don't let stuff like this happen. But yeah, need to get those roaches out. But so right, I just wanted to say, like, Cham really is the roach guy, because I remember when Submarine was in the map pool, it was an insta-veto for every Zerg in ZVT. But Cham, it was in every best of 3. He picked it first because it was so small. It was great for his roach builds. And this is before like roaches were like a more common thing in TVZ. So yeah, 100% the roach man.
Yeah, 100%. Always has been, always will be. And I don't know if it's because he's sort of scarred by playing in the South American region. Because sometimes if you went Zergling Baneling against like a Terran that went mech all of a sudden, you know, you were in a lot of trouble. He's really going for this hatchery, by the way. Like those, everything was locked onto that, so wasn't actually dealing too much damage to these units that were dealing damage to him. But yeah, if you do play against the likes of Special very often, you know, that can definitely haunt you / traumatize you to the point where you never make Lings ever again.
Yeah, that's actually very true.
It kind of reminds me of Stefano, who was kind of like a point, you know, he was the roach timing guy, but also he's been I kill Terrans with only Lings. I will also never forget him versus MVP in the Legends tournament, where he plays against MVP that's literally playing with not his gear at all. And MVP has learnt one build, which is mass Hellbats and tanks. And Stefano thought it was a great idea to try and beat that with Ling Bane only. Yeah, and I've never seen such a stomp in my life. I think MVP literally like A-clicked Stefano's base, went AFK and killed Stefano, trying his absolute hardest. But yeah, that's what happens to you sometimes.
That's so funny because I was like, I watched this game and I feel like MVP was like shocked. He's like, wait, why is everything dying for him? That was funny.
Yeah, that was fantastic. It was great talking to Stefano afterwards about it because I think it was Roddy making fun of him. You know, like. You know, you got 1 APM by MVP. How does it feel? And it's times like, oh, sod off. I thought I would win with Ling Bane. It's like, no, you didn't.
Heck, man. Crazy. Yeah.
I love casting StarCraft. You can make fun of all your friends.
Yeah. It's actually true, right? No, that was specifically crazy because what I thought was really funny about it was like MVP, the last time you saw him play 8 years ago, was only ever playing mech anymore because he had bad wrists, right? So, yeah. Shock horror, he played mech 4 games in a row. That was, it was almost like surprised to see Stefano so surprised, as we do have a couple of corrosive bars, going to push that Medivacs away. And MaSa powering up here.
Did you see the Lings run into the biles there?
Yeah.
That was like yeah, it's like the New Zealand rugby team. Like, that wasn't a mistake. That was intentional. He's instilling fear into MaSa by slapping himself, just to show that he's not afraid, Wardy.
Not afraid at all. No. We did get a couple of creep teamers down here with their Marines, so that's a nice little catch as Medivac just retreats back home. I like what I like what MaSa's done this game, but I do worry that I feel like now Cham is just on 4-5 bases. He's about to just swarm. Like, for everything that MaSa did, Cham has just ended up on 5 bases anyways, and now he's maxed out. Viper's on the way, Adrenal Gland's on the way. Cham's just playing a very solid game of StarCraft. Like, yeah, he lent on the roaches to get here, but so many Zergs do nowadays. I'm impressed by the timing of everything. Like, he's so well set up.
He really is. And I mean, MaSa's going for a very kind of old school push here, isn't he? Like just straight down the middle of the map. He's on 2 factories, on 5 barracks. 2-2 is going to come online fairly soon. That +2 armor is fairly quick for Cham. And MaSa was a little bit late to starting his 2-2 as well. So the timing absolutely goes against him. And you're right. The longer this game goes on, the better it is for Cham with everything that he's got behind it. But MaSa's good, man. Like, he will start dropping here, there, and everywhere if this starts getting a little bit messy. And that's okay. The Banshees, they're back. Wait, did he make a I thought he lost one.
No, you don't think he ever lost a Banshee.
Okay. So he keeps those alive, and they're back to deal damage. And yet again, a good, like, 6 minutes later. That's awesome.
I would love to see more than one Viper here. You know, there's so many tanks. The Lightning Clouds are going to be your absolute best friend. One Viper just isn't going to cut it. Then again, so many of the tanks are so far back. MaSa could do with bringing a few of them forward, I think, if he wants to really have a good chance at a good fight. As Adrenal Glands finishes, that's the trigger for Cham to go. And he is going to send it forward here. Ling Bane on a couple different angles, a couple tanks getting some shots off. We are going to keep running through. The tank line's doing work, though, especially as a lot of this is taking place off creep. For a moment, I kind of liked it for MaSa. I was like, maybe, but in the end, Cham just has so much. It's never ending, this Zerg Swarm.
It really is so much. And this is one of those fights where you as a Terran, you're like, that was going about as well as it could for me, right? And then it's like, yeah, except for that whole 2-2 thing being done right after the fight finishes. But yeah, MaSa's army was just very spread out, but way less tech involved here. Like, way less. And, I mean, Cham's honestly taken some kind of bad fights here, but that upgrade deficit that MaSa had, and just the fact that Cham is so rich behind this, like, Cham is not desperate at all here. I think I saw 8 Ultras on that production tab, and that, Wardy, is a pretty damn good number to be making.
Yeah, Ultras are going to be great. I mean, okay, we've got Marauders from MaSa. He's got a Liberator on the way, but...
He's got 4.
Yeah, okay. I mean, 4 Marauders, 2 Libs. I don't think that's going to cut it against the... It's about to be 9 Ultras, actually, which is ridiculous. So, Cham Max, not really any reason to wait apart from just units producing. And MaSa back in the center has a lot of medevacs, but kind of feels like that's the only thing he has a lot of.
If there's any matchup I think Cham is actually pretty damn solid in, it's CVT, man. Like, to get out of the region that he played in, you had to be so good at this matchup. Like, so good. And right now, he is really showcasing, like, he's very beastly. Like, you know, there's Ultras here. This was a solid Roach game. Wasn't a Roach all-in. It was a solid Roach game into crap loads of everything. And this army that it has right now, I mean, there's more medevacs than Terran units alive, and Cham's rich behind this, man. He's on 97 drones.
Cham's played a monstrous game. I said it earlier, I was impressed with where he was at, and I think that's very true right now as well. Queens could transfuse this base. I actually think it was Shift click to transfuse the base, actually. I'm not sure, but anyways, either way, you know, this base goes down. That's one small loss in amongst a mountain of losses on the other side of the map. Hold position SCVs are putting in work until the Ultras just slice through them all, and yeah, there's just no answer to Ultras. These Ultras are untouchable.
Absolutely untouchable. And these tanks, they're trying their best, and the Ultras, you know, sometimes they do win games. Sometimes. it's not every day you see it, you know. Sometimes the Zergs on sometimes the Zergs on Reddit are correct, but this time they were not. And here, MaSa is going to be significantly behind in upgrades, and oh my goodness, when your opponent is just running like a random Infestor and Viper at you just to parasitic bomb you and fungal your medevacs, that's when you know you're in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those ones where, you know, MaSa's like, you know what, I want to feel the pain. I'm not going to leave this game just yet. Because Cham is pretty much ready to roll into him once again. 4 fresh Ultras up in the front. He's got Infestors added on just for good measure. We do see MaSa still trying to harass this right side, trying to knock down this base. That's where MaSa is having his fun at the moment. As he comes in with it, the Ultra gets there. A couple of medevacs just lift up and retreat away.
Yeah, I mean, the Kree spread is very much stopped spreading in the middle of the map after that push initially from MaSa, but Cham doesn't need it at this point. Like, he just went over to where he thought a 4th base might be from MaSa. It wasn't there. Like, Cham absolutely knows he's in control here, and he's got, let's have a look at the numbers. He's got 6 Ultras on the field. It's a lot of Lings as well. He's maxed out entirely, and now he's like, you know what, I can just start putting down some Spine Crawlers here, there, and everywhere, and yeah, this is the fun kind of game if you're a Zerg player. You just rally everything across the map and just absolutely reap the rewards of your rather stellar early and mid game.
Yeah, this is not really much to add. We have a single Liberator that's going to be the defense. It forces all of these ultras away as MaSa sets down 100 supply. Bit of bio dives on the right-hand side, still trying to make something happen there, but obviously we can see this is an unrealistic hope. It ain't going to go anywhere at all.
No, I mean, 23 workers that can't really mine that much. I mean, absolutely brutal. And MaSa, you know, he realizes that, hey, this hasn't got the best, has it? And it's like, no, it hasn't. That early little squad of units that was really cool, actually. I'm kind of surprised it started off so fun and nice for him, and then went so awry. It's almost like teching out of it cost him a bit too much, and the 2-2 times a bit too off. But nicely done out of Cham, man.
Yeah, no, actually, I'm just super impressed with Cham. I especially when I thought the start was pretty good for MaSa. Like, I favor Cham coming into this, but like I thought MaSa was like onto something. He was getting some damage done. It felt pretty cool. I really felt he had something going, and then Cham was just like, all of a sudden I was like, oh my god, like he's almost maxed. Like he's got loads of drones. His tech switches have been absolutely fluid. Like clearly he had a little bit of back and forth early, but since then he has been steamrolling the macro. And that's definitely a statement there as we get ready for game 2, which is going to be Oceanborn. Cham up a map, and if you win this, you get to 2-1, of course. Big breaking point, 2-1 versus 1-2. 2 chances to get to playoffs, and then win-win is the only option if you're 1-2. Otherwise, you're out of the tournament. So, and in the Americas region, it's so tough. Like, there's so many good players that are, down. I mean, one of Trigger and Nino are going to be 1-2, so you don't want to face against them. Like, it's difficult, man. Like, there's a lot of good players. There's a lot of competition below that very top level, where it's maybe a bit more set in stone. The rest of the group is oftentimes wide open in this region.
I mean, it super spiced this region up for me. As soon as they combined the Americas, and it was like, all right, we know that Special, Kelazor, Cham's top 3 in South America, and then it's like, all right, who's going to win out of Estrella, Scarlet, and Neeb back then? And it was like, all right. But then you combine it all, and it's like, holy crap, who actually is the best in this region? And, the trickle-down effect, because right now, what's really cool is you have Scarlet and Special both being 3-0, and then you have the, Kelazor, Estrella 2-1, and I mean, that kind of stuff is awesome to see out of StarCraft.
Yeah. Love that a lot. It's in the bottom right. Loved his opening. Couldn't quite get it done after that big push kind of got picked apart. It is going to be in the bottom right, our blue Terran MaSa.
Have a look. Spawning over in the top left as our red Zerg, it is Cham. By the way, very interesting that he's been starting off with a pool before making the hatch, both games. And I don't know whether that's because of proxy axes, which have kind of gone out of fashion quite a bit recently, but Cham is the kind of guy that makes me think he just likes this as a build. I was just thinking about it, where Zergs have some of them have different approaches to how they deal with droning. Like, some Zergs, you'll see that they make just enough units to survive and have, an immaculate defense, while also trying to be as greedy as possible. It's a very fine line. And then you get other Zergs that overmake drones with the knowledge that they're probably going to lose some. But if they get away with it, they're very far ahead. And Cham definitely falls into that second category. So sometimes it can look like, oh no, he's taken a lot of damage. But if I think about another Zerg that sometimes falls into that as well, it's Solar. Whereas they kind of act like the punching bag. But then you can find if they aren't punished for what they're doing, they get very, very far ahead in games. And this game, Cham, with that early pool, will have these lings very early on the map here against MaSa. But it's scouted out, so that's nice for him.
Yep. As the feelings do go around the SCV, and that left side just going to get pushed away. But they found out that there's lings about, so you just know that as MaSa. Honestly, he was already going CC first, right? Which, against the lings themselves, is great because lings can't really get there in time to do anything against CC first. There's just going to be no SCV building a command center to pick off or anything, so yeah, in that case, it's fine. Maybe of some pool first, the road drawing timing can be scary if you're going CC first as well, but again, at this point, it's already kind of past that super scary stage. At this point, you should be able to get stuff out to defend if necessary.
Yeah, it's pretty cool by MaSa that he went for a CC first this game, which It's actually one of the best builds against any sort of pool first build, just because even if they go for like a 12 pool or whatever, you're actually not in the most terrible shape. Like, I think it was Marine King Prime many years ago showcasing like how to hold it. And by the way, he would never wall either while doing it pool, and you know, is kind of nuts. But he has gone against a very not greedy opening while being pretty damn greedy himself. But Cham, look at this, that lair. He has absolutely changed what he was set out to do. That is a very quick lair this game, Wardy.
Fast there, Roach Run coming down. Obviously, you could think Nidus Network here. There has been a couple of builds lately, which was just kind of 2 base for Roaches. This was more a response to the kind of multi-racks Reaper players. You don't have to defend a 3rd base early, and then you have a very strong Roach timing while they transition out of the Reapers. Obviously, this was not a Reaper-based opening. Cham very much so knows that. The Reaper gets in to see the lair. Well, that's terrifying because now MaSa knows, but then MaSa's got to be a bit terrified too. He drops a fusion core down. Oh my goodness.
I feel like MaSa right now is my spirit animal. Like, this is absolutely like, I don't know whether he planned on doing a 2 starport BC build or whatever, but that is so funny. Like, one of the things that he has to be very scared of is a Nidus hitting him before he gets everything online, you know? But I'm not sure if that's what Cham's actually going to go for here. Because, yeah, that is one thing that would absolutely knock Cham out right now.
Yeah, no, I kind of thought it as well. I don't think he ever wanted to go Nidus, but especially if the last scene, you're definitely not going to do it. And now double BC comes up, and so it's kind of funny because you have to lair fast enough to get a Spire if you knew, but you don't know right now, and that's kind of the problem. Is some Roaches going to move across? Yeah, Cyclone, there's a bunker. I don't really see these Roaches doing too much. Yeah, I guess it depends how the macro goes.
So one funny thing about the new Cyclone, it's actually way worse against Roaches than the old one. Like, way worse. Like, you know, his damage output is going to be so bad against this, but he just wants this Cyclone to buy time, which I think is a smart move, actually. Still probably will get caught out here, but he is buying time, and now he's going to actually suffer some losses here. Because Marine's in a bunker, as soon as they leave that bunker, they're pretty much toast against these Roaches. So this is actually a really cool attack by Cham, and it's actually going to do a fair bit. But given that he's like, all right, what's happening here? This is not meant to do this much against you. Like, he is producing Spore Crawlers back at home, but he's got no more Queens in production here, Wardy. I'm actually starting to think that MaSa, I'm not going to say he's okay with this, because nobody's okay with this, but if he goes across the map now, Cham's in a lot of trouble.
The sooner he goes, the better, because Cham's underprepared at the moment. An extra Spore starts up now, realizing what's up. He's going to try and get on top of the tank and avoid the shots. He is going to get there, but the repair is going to be good enough, and all of that is going to come down to now the BC teleporting on the other side. The first Queen here goes down. Obviously, because you're 2 bases from the start, and you built a lair, Queen production is extremely minimal with this build, right? So you only had 3 Queens? Are we dead? Spire's on the way, but this is rough, man. You got a long time to go until a Spire's built.
He's my spirit animal, man. I told you. But, like, no, I mean, like, this is super bad for Cham. Like, he went in there, but look, he even had a 4th base online. Like, he had no idea what was going on this game. The Spire super late. Didn't plan on Nidusing or anything with that, really. I think Cham just... He was in autopilot mode, and he has been massively caught out here. And the thing is, this is... He should have been all over this, man. Like, this is very bad for him. Very bad.
Wow. Queens still trying to deal some damage. The BC's coming across. And obviously, you just chase these Queens down. There's more BCs building, so it's only going to get worse as this hatchery falls. You can go elsewhere. I mean, the Spire's on the way up, but you got 600 gas. Is that really that scary an amount of Corruptors?
Or he just scanned to try and find the Spire as well, and I think that's exactly what he's going to start going for. Yamato is going to be online very soon. Maybe that Spire goes down before it even finishes here. That would be the true nail in the coffin.
Yeah, if he sees it, I mean, I guess he sees it now. If he Yamato's it, I mean, the problem is one of his DCs is just so low, right? So I don't think he's going to go for it, so I think he's just going to get the finish, but either way, damage is already done, man.
Yeah, and he might kill the lair here. And even if he doesn't, like, how many drones have died? I mean, 17 at this point. It's like, well, and keeping the Yamatos, because that upgrade is done now. They are pretty damn good against the Corruptors that are being made. Oh, he's gonna... Okay, I question everything.
I agree. Maybe the Corruptors would have been better, but I think he's also a bit afraid that he's... Like, he teleported the first BC back. I think he was just afraid they're going to get picked off before he teleports them away, so... Just being safe, taking a queen rather than nothing at all, and then BCs will repair up, and we've got 4 on the map against a Zerg that's down 50 supply.
Yeah, this is, you know when I said, like, Cham goes for the second approach with the, you know, losing a lot of drones but overmaking? Like, you can see here that in almost full effect, but absolutely did not pay off. Having 0 defense against the BC stuff. And I dare say when he sees this army moving out here, he's just like, I'm kind of dead. Yes.
Yeah. He's kind of
even going for +1/+1, like, he's he's wild. He's wild.
He believes, man. Like, his roach drone might be bleeding out, but he believes in the 1/1 for the roaches.
He believes. And how many BCs is that now? 5? I mean, there's more BCs than Corruptors on the map. And I think some of them just maybe got Yamatoed.
There's more BCs than... Oh, yeah. You know, 2 Corruptors, 2 Queens left. Now there's more BCs than anti-air units altogether. Queens and Corruptors combined, so... I'm gonna go
I mean, look at the resources lost tab, Wardy. That's pretty solid.
5k favor. 9 minutes in game. You've lost 1,000. Pretty good, yeah.
The good old 6.6k against 1.5, and, you know, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
It's not getting better in this game. This game has to end before it gets better.
This is why I love NA, man.
Yeah. It's just
you
special,
would not see this. Yeah, you would not see this anywhere else. And, you know, when they tell me, hey, Benny, you're getting hired, not paid to cast, and I'm like, oh, damn. but we're like, and they're like, don't worry, you get to watch NA. And I'm like, oh, yes, I'm happy.
Well, we get to watch even more of it because this goes to a game 3, so we will be going the distance. We have more matches from NA all coming up. And get that going in just a couple of moments to get this up and rolling here. And yeah, keep diving on in.
That was actually a cool game, though. I still unsure entirely about the opening from Cham. Like, it all felt a little bit off, but that was MaSa just being kind of cool there, and I like a lot of what he was doing as well. Like, got to spot what he was up against. I mean, the bunker at the natural against that little roach push definitely meant that he didn't completely die, and you know, once he got the battle cruisers out. But yeah, that was absolutely Cham just being like, hey, I'm winning, but not really thinking about what was going on behind it. I feel like he absolutely missed a beat there, didn't he?
Yeah, no, it felt like it just took so long for him to respond. But even if he realized, like I say, because it's 2 bases, you build a layer of 2 bases, like your queen count's naturally low. So even if you start building queens early, I'm not sure how much better it would have suddenly gone for him.
No.
So yeah, even more of a problem there. Looks as though we're just about getting ready for this game 3. We'll see if MaSa... I mean, would be an upside, I think, if MaSa comes through and wins this. Cham is the player who's definitely been much more active. He's been much more kind of, you know, just around and playing in cups weekly. MaSa's really here for this regional, and if he knocks Cham down, like I said, that is definitely a big upset.
Yeah, I mean, I do believe Cham, like, within the last few years, went to Korea. Like, that's how serious he's been with his training. And MaSa, I have no idea what that man does these days. No idea. Like, I know he's cool, and again, I'll go back to the whole, it annoyed me with how little he practiced and that he was still pretty damn good. But yeah, we're getting into a third map here between him and Cham, and that's absolutely awesome. Spawning over in the bottom right as that blue Terran that I'm often jealous of, at least back in the day I was, it is MaSa.
In the top left, that red Zerg player from the Starlight Twinkle. It is Cham.
So he... Okay, I want to bet. Do you want to bet? I bet he's going to go pool first. Yeah.
Did the last 2 games. I think he'll do it again. There's also MaSa. Like, MaSa's known for proxying.
I would have lost.
You would have lost. I like to save you money, Ben.
I would have bet so much.
I was kind of with you, though. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
took it.
Interesting, because so far it's been MaSa kind of changing up the builds a little bit. So first game we went for the gas first, then Barracks expand, which you get out the fast factory that we talked about, then very quick like Hellion in the base, then cool guerrilla warfare afterwards with a little squad. But then it was CC first. Now 2 racks on the low ground Reaper, like that kind of level of divvying up your builds. I think that's really cool out of MaSa. Like, regardless of how much he practices or whatever, he's very much in line and keeping up with what is meta these days, because this is a very meta build.
And what's also meta is Terran players doing different things. Like, gone are the days of, 3CC, Hellion Banshee, or just skip the Banshees. Like, that was the mix-up, right? Maybe you'd throw in an Armory and a Hellbat attack, but yeah, this is really a meta in TVZ. A lot of the time, you're changing up your build game by game, and that's exactly what he's doing here. Even going to get this bunker up, so he has somewhere to put the Reapers on top of the natural. Very fun.
This is kind of wild, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to go up, right?
I don't see him stopping it. I mean, there's going to be a Reaper out here very quickly, and already that's going to throw a bit of a spanner in the works, because that is not what you want to be dealing with this early on. Like, that makes this whole thing a bit more annoying to shut down. Can't get drones down on this expansion, which you'd love to be doing right now, because you don't actually need the amount of gas that he's mining, which, we still see 3 on the gas here. So already, and again, Cham's played a little bit strange to me in this series, but that is, it's wild. Can pop in this. This is really cool out of MaSa. Love it so far.
Yeah, bunker's neat because it just gives you somewhere. It's like a safe haven, it's a safe house for those Reapers. They can just jump into it when they need to regen. There's the Baneling Nest. I think that had to be what he was going for when he kept mining gas, right? So
yeah,
a Baneling Burst, not necessarily against the
Ooh.
bunker, probably just link speed against the bunker as we lost a Reaper. I think a Baneling Burst across the map afterwards is what he's going to look to do to win the game.
Okay, so that was actually really bad for MaSa. Really bad. Cham doesn't have to respect this half as much as he initially did. And the fact that he's doing what he's doing here, like, MaSa absolutely has seen a lot of links being produced from this natural, right? Absolutely has. And Cham's being kind of smart here with the fact that he's kept a lot of lings in the main, which I think is really good by him. But can you imagine if this was 3 Reapers to deal with? This would have been... You'd have to reveal more, you wouldn't be able to do all this. And now MaSa's in a position where that wall off that he has, he needs to start making, like, engineering bays and stuff there pronto. Like, absolutely right now.
He's dead, man. Like, he doesn't know. And if you don't know, like, this bunker's too late. The bunker oftentimes will save you, but it has to be finished. If the bunker's not done, like, you're in trouble. Because there's more Banelings than you need to knock down depots here. So you can get some Banes towards the Marines as well. And obviously without any micro capabilities, it's not going to be easy. We knock this down. The Marines are kind of hiding in the corner. The ones on the top side of that bunker is kind of cute. We do target fire down at the Banelings, but then the entire main mineral line's in trouble.
It absolutely is in trouble. And this was MaSa being called out, man. He was being fancy, he was being cute. He's got 3 CCs up, which is one thing that might be able to get him back into that. And he is re-solidifying his wall. And to be fair, Cham really did hunker down and make a lot of extra lings here. So 18 lings on the map. That could have been 9 extra drones here. I tell you what, Cham is ahead for sure, but it's not as crazy ahead as I thought it was going to be. Like, it could be even more, right?
Yeah,
He's got, what, 6? Is he just going to try?
He's going to go for round 2. I don't understand round 2 when he's been droning, if I'm going to be honest. Although the bunker's gone now, so actually if these lings can just get in, there's actually not really much damage on them. Oh, he doesn't like the idea anymore. Okay.
He cancelled it, and also he's supply blocked. Giga. He's actually making buildings just to unsupply block himself, but still not producing overlords. What's going on? Okay. There we go. That was a long time, man. Yeah. He must have thought he had overlords in production there, because that was a long supply block. And every single move like this is just very helpful if you're a MaSa fan.
100%. I kind of wish he just went for round 2. I actually think he would have had some potential. It's scary. He saw the Cyclone. Clearly didn't think he had enough. Maybe if he'd kept making lings all the way throughout, because he did stop to drone. If he just made lings and then gone for round 2, it might have been good enough. But with drones as well, I think canceling might have just been the better call. And so he'll just take these lings on the map, open up some rocks, make the map more open for himself, take a third hatchery, and we're into a mid-game from this wild opening on hard lead.
Absolutely. One massive thing in favor of Cham is the upgrades. Like, if he gets them going, because no engineering bays have even been started yet for MaSa, which is that if you are against Ling Bane instead of Roaches, being behind on upgrades is absolutely something that can really set you back massively, right? But he will have 2 medevacs out in the field. Stim is done and Combat Shield is on the way. Let's have a look at the unit count. Only 4 queens for Cham. You know, a lot of Zergs tend to go with 7 or 8 being pretty damn good numbers, but Cham, a guy that likes to be a bit more greedy, and he's okay with losing drones because he tends to make so many of them.
Yeah, you mentioned that before. That's very true. You can lose a few and then still be okay. Here's a bio attack looking for the 4th base. Gets there. The Zerglings are going to be there.
Yeah, the upgrade's not yet done for Cham, and he's realizing, damn, I actually need a little bit more against this. So does get a cancel on here. That is a little bit of a victory here for MaSa. And again, he is on 3 CC, but realizing, like, okay, there's more here. And now MaSa's the one that's been supply blocked for a bit of time. Macro on both sides kind of faltering a little bit. Supply drop there. Still supply blocked on the new supply. Yeah, a bit of a brutal game.
Yeah, a little bit messy just all around, but sometimes that gives us the best StarCraft, especially because they're both making the mistakes. It really kind of levels the playing field, right? So, very fun.
Absolutely. Liberators, tanks. This reminds me of a Cure build. I can't remember the map pool that it was on, but it was definitely quite a few seasons ago where he would go 3 base and just go pure Marine tank Liberator. And he beat the likes of Serral during that meta, which was really cool. But I think MaSa realizes, like, my upgrades are so late, I'm in such a dire spot, I'm going to need to do something. Maybe the Liberators are just for harassing, but when Cham runs these Banelings into this 3rd base, he's like, oh, there's not that much there. Oof, that was brutal.
That's a few SCVs. I'm watching this drop because it's been all over the place as well. And Cham's going to then just fall back to what is now a bigger... MaSa's going to fall back to what's a bigger push still with a tank on the high ground too. Cham has to be careful, and he's going to realize it now as well. And it's so weird to go Ling Bane with Bane speed and then be like, you know what I need? Now I need Roaches and Roach speed. Like, Cham
he's the Roach.
He's the Roach man, yeah.
And because he has such a low queen count in general, this Liberator on top of a hatchery is actually pretty brutal. And every queen loss here, this is all fairly brutal. Like, can you imagine? You could actually hold the top of this ramp with 2 Liberators. That would have actually been like a killing blow.
Yeah, that would have been actually insane. I was surprised the tank shot came in. Obviously, MaSa's just been moving up his units during this as well, so still playing very nicely, still keeping the pressure up. And he just keeps on dropping, man. This Liberator comes through, sieges on top of the queens. Another queen will go down. The Lings are going to run in, but I don't think they're going to have a good fight, even with the melee upgrade advantage. And obviously the Liberator doesn't care about upgrades. He's going to slap down a couple of Banelings as we go. Corrosive Vials weren't really necessary. They drop anyways, as we do see MaSa. Yeah, just still keeping a good position, keeping this pressure up. He's going to see the Ravages as free pickings right now as well. Doesn't quite get that one. Might be worth getting Conquest Shells.
Yeah, Conquest would definitely help. And Cham, the one massive lead he had in this game was upgrades, which, whatever happened, he completely forgot about 2-2. Completely. He's got the money and has had the money. That is a big detonation on that 3rd base, though. That is huge, because he's already economically in very good shape. But yeah, the 2-2, or even just getting +2 armor would have helped him so much. But all that extra gas being used on the Roaches and Ravages, that's often why you don't see them do it.
Nope, absolutely. Those Lings are going to come across. Bio will step back. The tanks and the Liberator are going to keep on firing up, but this is Cham all of a sudden just grabbing control of this game, cleans out this position, just did great eco damage. He might actually be able to go across the map following this and re-attack the 3rd base. I don't know if MaSa would have a great time trying to hold on right now.
No, I mean, MaSa is mortally wounded, man. Absolutely is. And starts up his +2 attack pretty darn quickly, does MaSa. He's getting up to 5 barracks, which is nice, but... Oh, I mean, he's got a mountain to climb here. He really does. Like, he's trying to do damage in the main base, which... What does he have over there? Nice little drop. Going to get a few drones over here.
Yeah, I think Cham just Obviously, Cham probably feels bad because he's been kind of trailing the entire time. He's going to get into the mineral line again. The SCV's clumping a little bit, and there's 11 SCVs going down. I think Cham's got to look at this and be like, man, there's like 10 Marines here. If he just sent his army, he'd have a very good fight. It is crazy, the upgrade difference, by the way. The fact it was so far ahead 1-1 from Cham, and now he's going to be so far behind on 2-2. That's something that he's just completely, continued to be negligent about, and that could come back to bite him if he doesn't go and take advantage of what he's got going for himself right now, which is a good army lead and a strong economy against a MaSa that's been struggling to get, beyond this 3-base and even keep the 3-base economy alive.
Yeah, like 41 SCVs have died this game. Like, that is so damn many. Like, so damn many. Granted, quite a few died from that early Ling Bane pressure, but the fact that MaSa's still fighting here, he's going to have 2-2 finishing up fairly soonish as well. 5 tanks. I mean, 26 Banelings are on the field. Like, Banelings are not a unit that you need until you need them. And right now, them not being used for anything I don't want to say it's wasteful because you keep them alive, but if you don't need them, you're not using them right there and then, they could be drones, they absolutely could. So Cham is absolutely richer than you can even comprehend, really. And MaSa, he's got a lot of work to do, man. A lot of work. 2-2 does finally start up here for Cham.
Yeah, finally gets that underway. MaSa will have the upgrade window in his favor. These few Marines going to get crashed into by Bane, so saves a few, but doesn't save all of them, which is just obviously a bit painful as well.
Absolutely is. MaSa with a drop in the northeast side here will be greeted by quite a few units, though, so it doesn't get that much done. MaSa has actually put down a 4th base. And that, to me, is wild, considering everything that's happened here. Like, this is definitely one of those games where I'm like, those drops have caused Cham way too much trouble, and Cham has absolutely given MaSa too much time here, but he's still obviously very far ahead. It's just, MaSa should absolutely be dead here.
Yeah, no, he should be. Like I say, upgrades might kind of keep him around a little bit, but even then, like, the one thing is that MaSa's been so all over the place that Cham just has units wherever you look, which is actually hurting him because, again, he's scared to just sort of send it across the map, right? And I get it, Terran defensive position, but this was one of those scenarios where the Terran was not well set up defensively. Maybe now they are, but there's been minutes here where he could have gone, and he's just decided, no, let's slow this game down. I'm not quite confident with where we're going. He'd rather take it in towards Hive Tech and just see what we can do with that, so that's exactly where we are going to go right now. There's a little bit of bio on the Watchtower. Just going to hold out. More Ling Bane in this bottom left. He wants to knock down this 4th base, it seems.
And that mineral situation that we see for Cham, that is what you far more often see from Zerg. Like, that's why the Wayne situation from earlier was so crazy, where it was like, I had 50 minerals, but for a 6k gas. Oh my goodness,
no.
It lived.
That's so bad for Cham. That was so many units he just gave up for nothing.
He gave up an entire army. An entire army, Wardy. And MaSa's gone for the world-famous Beyond move, where you start up your armor before your weapons and actually forget your weapons. So that kind of sucks for him, unless he notices it and figures it out. But Cham is up to Hive here. So he's not down and out. And also he's getting an Ultralisk Cavern. He's finished a Spire as well. But this is actually a scary Terran squad this time.
No, I mean, Cham just lost so much that any push from MaSa is going to have a little bit of scare to it. And especially where right now is he's just going to be caught to the left side off creep. This is not all of his army either. He is going to dive down the right. There's a bunker and a tank left behind, so we might actually be able to hold on right now. We're holding very easily. This is terrible for Cham. The trades are horrible. He's going to lose a hatchery and probably a whole lot more as MaSa will continue to chase on forward.
Oh my goodness. This is actually a disaster. An absolute disaster for Cham. Like, look how much money he has as well. He's randomly making a drop overlord right now as well. I don't know why or where or what for. Massive error. He's nervous, man. He's absolutely fallen apart.
Yes, he is. MaSa is looking for the upset right now. Yeah, the drop overlord was absolutely a mistake. It's just in amongst a bunch of other overlords. As he might be able to get the bottom left 4th base, and that's what Cham is kind of hoping for. MaSa, he was kind of pulling back. Now he's going to sort of send it. Now he pulls back again. I mean, the planetary goes down here, but this is where you are still at your absolute highest strength, because Cham has thrown even more Banelings away, knocking down your planetary. He will not have a lot to play defense back at home.
No, he won't. And MaSa, despite having so many tanks and army in the middle of the map, he's like, you know what? Let's go for the main, buddy. And there's a lot of tech in the main that could be really juicy right now. Ultralisk Cavern, the Hive, and this is very well upgraded. Ultralisk Cavern, it's got 2 upgrades on the go. It's down, Wardy.
Yep, a couple ultras that on the way will not be as effective as they want to be. Baneling Nest is a great grab, and of course all these units can just lift up and get out. They really should, instead of eating Baneling connections while clumped and pushing at the front at the same time. This hatchery is extremely low. We do have the units kind of a little bit spread out here when trying to support. Liberator is going to get sieged up. A couple of vials will not kill that off, so it will remain, and it might even get the Ultralisk. Didn't get the extra shot off. Out in the center, the tanks are putting in work right now, and Cham is still losing out big time. The drop in the main is still here as well. The Ultra that was heard from the middle of the map is going to go down as it tries to respond. We lift up against the Banelings. MaSa is all over our Zerg player. 50 supply ahead, and really is looking to lock down this upset.
This is crazy, man. Like, even considering the early game, oh my goodness, what a win out of MaSa, dude.